Greetings, friends, family, and anybody else who takes the time to watch my videos, which is like one or two of you. That's okay. For the last year, I've been making these videos with the intent of stimulating conversation. Instead of everybody being trapped in their left-wing, liberal, democratic agendas and their right-wing, conservative, Republican agendas, I was attempting to stimulate conversation. Doesn't really seem to have worked. Several friends and acquaintances have come to me and had commented on the fact that my videos don't really represent me because I'm actually quite sarcastic, quite humorous, not so serious. I'll be honest, I don't really know how to make comedic content. It's more of like an in the moment sort of thing. But I will try to be a bit more sarcastic and a bit more humorous and a bit more lighthearted in the future. That being said, I wanted to address some things that I feel I've neglected. My buddy, who's more like an older brother over at Warden Farm Beekeeping, has commented on a few of my videos. Specifically videos pertaining to the issues with the school boards. If you guys remember from a few months back, the issues with the school boards and threatening parents as being terrorists and all that nonsense. He also had commented on a video I made where I had essentially said that I got the vaccine out of fear of losing my job, and that's 100% true. I got the Pfizer vaccine because between two different people, my therapist and my boss. My boss basically said, look, from your time in the military, you don't think that we've got your DNA on file? You don't think that, the government's already got a track on you, if you believe in those kind of conspiracies over the vaccine? And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. He's like, plus, these are Trump's vaccines. You just don't like that Biden's making it mandatory. And I was like, oh, that's 100% true. And he's like, do you really want to lose your job over the vaccine? And I was like, no. And he's like, how much crap did the military pump into you without question, regardless of consequences? And I was like, yeah, true. And he's like, so, and then of course my therapist recommended Pfizer based on friends that she has that still works in virology. So my friend at Warden Farm Beekeeping had commented on the fact that it shouldn't have been held over my head that I could lose my job if I don't get the shot. And I don't disagree. I don't. And then he also commented on the media bias, which I think by now, over the last several years, is kind of a redundant point. It's like water's wet, poop stinks. It's a level of redundancy that is unnecessary. I think my wife's coming home with the groceries. We'll have to put this on pause and come back to it later. Okay. So I can't guarantee there won't be any more interruptions, but we'll try and get through it. So, reading through what I affectionately consider a big brother, reading through his comments, yeah, it's all pretty much. I think I left off with the media being redundant because I think for the better part of 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, maybe less, several people have been commenting, to include people that are way more popular than I am and have way more followers, the overwhelming media bias. And I think it's reached a point now where the media just doesn't care. It's like, yeah, we're biased. Yeah, we're framing a narrative. Do something about it. And because so many people, what's that meme? It's something about stupidity is knowing the lie, but or knowing the truth, but refusing to believe it, or knowing the truth but choosing to believe the lie, or something of that nature. So, and the other thing, if I failed to mention it, was I think where we get a lot of confusion is in the 24-hour news cycle. Instead of there being 24 hours of actual news, they backfill the time slot with commentary. People who take current events, real world events, or things that are happening, and then they put their socio-political spin on it. And there may be fine print, there may be warnings and whatnot letting people know, hey, FYI, this is not a news broadcast, this is somebody's commentary for the purpose of entertainment. So now we are taking a break from reporting actual news to conducting commentary, and people are viewing commentary as though it's news, and they're allowing the commentary to sway their opinions. And I brought that up to make a segue. I've made about 5 or 6 videos that I have absolutely failed to finish producing and put them on the air. So a few weeks ago, we got COVID. My wife got COVID. She went down hard. She's not vaccinated, and she had the worst case symptoms. She's also asthmatic, so I don't know if that caused an adverse reaction. I also have no idea whether she had Delta, Omicron, Optimus Prime, no idea, or if she just had regular run-of-the-mill COVID. She contracted it from work, from a student that she worked with. It just is what it is, and that's how we looked at it. It's like, okay, you know, no thoughts of lawsuits, no thoughts of excessively over-dramatized behavior, just, okay, we got it, let's deal with it. And then I eventually caught it, you know, because I'm not going to, sorry, but I wasn't going to distance myself from my wife. I, at best, had a case of the sniffles. I would say Monday, I don't know, I can't remember what Monday, but on a Monday when I had to brief, I had the worst case of the sniffles, and that's about as long as it lasted. The Tuesday after, I went and got tested, I tested positive. Then I was in quarantine. I decided, you know, the hell with it, and I went and got tested the very next Tuesday, and I tested negative. So in the span of a week, I got COVID and I beat it. I also have no idea which variant I got. You know, obviously, if my symptoms were what they were because of the vaccine, and that makes me a poster boy for the vaccine, that I'm against the mandate, but whatever, then it is what it is. You know, the vaccine helped me have mild symptoms. My kids are unvaccinated. My daughter had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. It's as if she had a shield that deflected COVID. My son also had the sniffles and just kind of felt, That was about it. And the reason I bring it up, probably not going to be my first attempt at sarcasm. Maybe I'll make that a resolution for next year, which is only a couple days away. The reason I bring it up is, let's say hypothetically all 4 of us caught COVID and we all 4 had different reactions, okay? The way it's being reported in media circles is you're either in one camp or the next. You're either in, oh my God, full-fledged panic, the sky is falling, or you're in the, it is what it is. We'll deal with it. We, for all intents and purposes, we're in the we'll deal with it camp. We're not in the light your hair on fire, full-on panic camp. Some people are, some people aren't. It just is what it is. But the news media, for whatever reason, they're focusing heavily on the number of positive tests, positive cases. And you know, it's one thing if you can report, okay, so many people are having really bad adverse reactions, or so many people are panicking, and this is overwhelming medical facilities in certain locations, perhaps where there's a larger population density. The point I'm trying to make is there's a method to which you can report your facts, and the method you use can have a profound impact on the audience who receives the information. And the point that I've been trying to make for the better part of a year is that I believe the media is culpable in the response. I wish there was some case law that would eventually come out that would hold media complicit and hold them accountable for how they cause the masses to react and respond. Whether they're the ones responsible for panic, if they're the ones responsible for rioting, if they're the ones responsible for any adverse action. Okay? In the way that they control and purport a narrative, if they can be held accountable. Because the way it's all being reported is the spike in cases, the spike in positive testing, etc. But nobody is focusing on the population at large. How many people have contracted it? How many people has it affected horrifically? How many people are still dealing with it? Their body can't deal with it the same as, and how many people have had zero symptoms, and how many people have recovered 100%. Those are facts. Those are unemotional, unmitigated facts. And if it's that new of a strain of influenza, which to the best of my knowledge, all COVID strains are a form of influenza. This one, as I've said before, crossed the human barrier into the human barrier. So there's nothing wrong with saying we don't know enough about it. This whole year, 2 years, 3 years is going to be data collection. As it works its way through the population, we just have to see how people respond. And based on the data, we can tell you whether or not certain people, whether it's ethnic groups, whether it's pre-existing conditions, we can tell you based on data collection how people are going to respond. In the meantime, here's some precautions you can take. You can wear a mask voluntarily. Make that an adjunct of choice. You can social distance. You can practice hygiene that you should have been practicing all along, but maybe this time take it serious for this reason. So if nothing else, maybe COVID has taught us, there's certain social practices we should have been doing as a civilization that maybe we just weren't, and it's causing us to refocus on our thoughts, behaviors, and patterns as far as, washing your hands more when you come in contact with publicly used things like handrails and whatnot. Maybe businesses now will focus more on wiping down publicly used items like shopping carts and whatnot. But giving people the opportunity to make an informed decision is really the only drum I've been beating for the better part of a year. And unfortunately, I've only had a handful of people respond, one of which is my friend over at Warden Farm Beekeeping. If you're interested in learning anything at all about the process of keeping bees and potentially harvesting your own honey and harvesting your own beeswax, as well as contributing to the betterment of the environment, because bees are a detrimental source to the environment as far as repollination, etc., then head on over to his channel, check out his videos. He does very in-depth videos on the process of beekeeping, where if you're a newbie just starting out, you can learn everything you need to know just by watching his videos, and I will provide the link in the description of this video. Other than that, I think the goal remains the same. I still want to encourage more conversation. I want us to, overcome some of these barriers and talk to one another. Have calm, rational conversations, even if we disagree. Even if on this particular topic you're in camp panic. If you're in camp, light your hair on fire, the sky is falling, oh my God, COVID, COVID, COVID. That's fine. Get involved. Let's have these conversations and, prove to the world that the media is not in control. We're in control of ourselves. We're smart individual people who can make informed decisions, have calm, rational conversations, even if they don't lead to an agreement. So that's all I got. Look forward to hearing from you.